Yep, this show happened. I'm John Redland with my review of WWE Raw, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. Started good with a good first match. Ended with a good match. Everything else was just, it was ridiculous. So many talents are quarantined. They're either sick or they're just avoiding being sick because they were exposed because there was an outbreak at the Performance Center. I get it. I get the fact that so many talents were quarantined, and I hope every single person, regardless of how I feel about their gimmicks, because there's a gimmick and the real person, I hope that they're safe. They stay safe, stay sound, get healthy if they are sick, and come back and earn a living. That is what matters, and that's what all true wrestling fans should want. We can separate the wrestler from the gimmick. Even though that is difficult sometimes, look, honestly, guys, this is a real rough situation, and everybody deserves to stay healthy, and I hope all of you are staying healthy. That being said, this was the worst parts of WCW 2000, Human Centipede together and thrown at a wall, and this is what stuck. Now, we had a couple good title matches. Unfortunately, everything else was bullshit. Flair, Big Show, Christian, and Shawn are in the ring. You know, all the guys that Randy Orton punted and beat up that interfered in the emergency medical wagon match. Thank you, Catwoman 13, for that. Here's Drew, and he talks about a cavalcade of destruction and all that, and talks about, hey, he's so happy to be there among all the talents and everything, and I believe it was Christian that said, oh, by the way, it's the Nature's fault. Maybe it was Shawn, I don't know. Some of this segment started to run together. And, you know, we're sorry we interfered in it, but we're also not sorry because we wanted to get our revenge. And then Orton's on the screen. There is a price to pay when you cross Randy Orton. There will be hell to pay. Hell in a Cell. We're getting a Hell in a Cell match. Even though an ambulance match should have been the end of this feud. Then he leaves. But does he leave? He doesn't, actually, because he shows up at the end. If you know anything about wrestling, you know that's what's going to happen. And then Drew offers an open challenge to anyone he hasn't faced yet, and actually we get a pretty good opponent out of that. And then we get Zelina and Asuka yelling at each other while Kayla's just looking, am I here? Why am I here? What am I doing? Zelina versus Asuka, Raw Women's Championship. It's a rematch from Clash of Champions. And look, I enjoyed their match literally 24 hours ago. It wasn't bad. Zelina really actually can wrestle. A lot of people tend to forget that, myself included, because she has not been featured all that much. And her and Asuka crafted a good match here. Asuka no doubt beat her, because of course she was, and there was tons of scissoring action. What am I even on about when it comes to the scissoring action in the women's matches? But at least with this, Asuka got a win, and Zelina did not look weak. She got beat, but you know she had a good showing here. And cool, it was what it was. You know, Asuka, I don't know who the fuck else she's gonna face because I don't know who who is available that isn't in quarantine. But hopefully they get her a good opponent. I mean, her versus Zelina, I guess, again at Hell in a Cell wouldn't be bad, but if you have Zelina lose 3 straight matches, now you need to build her back up, at least in my opinion. And then we get 4 old guys playing poker. Poker, I don't even know her. And then we get back from break, and Andrade is berating Zelina, saying, you're nothing without me, and that Andrade is the greatest, and then berates Garza, and Garza took a nasty spill. I hope Garza's going to be okay, because fucking hell, that was bad. So, Andrade says he's the greatest and everything, and does some kind of open challenge, and then we get Keith Lee. So it's the BBC versus the El Idolo, and 3 minutes later, Andrade loses. Now, I'm not against Keith Lee winning. Actually, I think, if anything, Keith Lee should have beaten Andrade. I just don't understand why this wasn't like an 8 to 10 minute match and Andrade didn't get in some offense. Are they just trying to make him look like a goof? Are they writing him off of TV so he can go be with Charlotte? I mean, what the hell's going on? Charlotte is recovering from some surgical procedures of some point or of some description and taking time off, which, however I feel about Charlotte and the fact that she ate up so much TV time she didn't deserve, at least she's getting time off because her knees are pretty much fucking destroyed and she needs that rest. Which, of course she does. The way she lands after a moonsault, I'm amazed she can walk. But, yeah, Andrade just got absolutely squashed by Keith Lee. They wrote themselves into a corner here, basically. And then we get MVP, Shelton, and Lashley, and then some white guy who just sits at the Hurt Business table and then gets chased away, and Lashley says, hey, you're taking my plate. Lashley eats off a plate that a guy ate off of in the middle of a pandemic. I'm not saying that people are stupid, and Lashley sure is a freak of nature, but come on, guys, read the room. I mean, I don't know if you can read the room. I don't know if you know it was Braille edition on the walls, but come on, guys. Seriously, what the fuck? And then we get recaps of the Truth and Tozawa stuff, you know, where Tozawa got eaten by a shark, and then suddenly Truth is playing chess with Little Jimmy while the 24/7 championship is there being, quite frankly, as useless as it ever has been, and then suddenly a ninja shows up with the briefcase. It's Tozawa. It has a letter from Tozawa. If you're reading this, I got eaten by a shark. Apparently, Tozawa was a clairvoyant, and he knew this was going to happen. Why is the 24/7 championship still a thing? Then, suddenly, you know, the black belt, Tozawa's black belt is in the briefcase. Oh, wow, and then suddenly, Gulak is the ninja and pins Truth and gets the victory. Oh, God. And then, no, wait. Wait, no, I take that back, actually. Tozawa got the surprise roll-up, and then Gulak was a surprise ninja and pinned Tozawa, and then Gulak gets pinned by Truth. I hated this. I absolutely hate it. This is where the show basically died for me. Not that... Not that, like, you know, everything was great up to this point, but at least, like, okay, it was a little shocking to see Keith Lee beat Andrade, and Asuka and Zelina had a good match, and everything died by this point. Everything was dead. The 24/7 championship, not knocking Tozawa, not knocking Gulak, not knocking R-Truth. Fucking stupid. I mean, R-Truth is doing the best he can, but these segments really got old like 8 months ago. I mean, I fucking hated 24/7 championship stuff. Anyway, so... Murphy is in his gear, and he's texting somebody. Oh boy. Take it easy. Take it easy here for a second. Rollins is like, hey, why are you in your gear? Go put the suit on that I got for you. I got you a suit, buddy. I got you a suit. You're my disciple. Da-da-da-da-da. Messiah of the, whatever. Messiah of the backbreaker is what I almost said. Roderick Strong in this role would be very, very odd. But anyway. He's like saying to Murphy, what the hell are you going? Murphy left his phone. And Rollins looks at it because Seth Rollins and phones always work out well. How do I fucking describe this goddamn bullshit? Okay, we get a draft on SmackDown on the 9th of October, and then it continues on Raw on the 12th. They're just going to rearrange the furniture while not addressing the actual problem, like getting rid of Vince and getting him out of the house and into a retirement home where he belongs. And I'm not saying because of age, I'm saying because the fucker absolutely lost it. So, King's Court with the Mysterio family. King is just happy to see a family with 2 kids because it reminds him of what his used to be. Oh, this is going well. I don't care because Lawler is a piece of shit. So, anyway, Dominik is talking, cutting a promo and everything because they bring up the stuff about Aaliyah. Aaliyah's being a little too friendly with Murphy. What the hell is going on here? Oh, she's just naive. She can't do this. She can't make her decisions. She's just a little girl. The acting in this was absolutely terrible, about as bad as mine right there, and this was, my face during the whole goddamn thing. Not with the same haircut, not with the Speak to the Manager haircut that Drew Barrymore had. By the way, great movie. If you haven't watched Scream, fucking watch it. That opening sequence better than anything you'd see on Raw tonight. Hell, Scream 3, the worst one, was better than Raw. So, Dominik is talking and everything, it's like, this needs ass kind of stuff. Dad, it's gone on long enough. Also, I just can't get over how the mother looks like the grandmother. It just absolutely baffles me. She needs more Lemon Pledge. Aaliyah then cuts a promo basically saying, no, Murphy's different. I'm not saying that Aaliyah needs to be a world beater or a Shakespearean actress, and neither does Dominik. But it's one thing for me to just babble here on a YouTube channel. These two are on a worldwide broadcast, nationwide broadcast, worldwide broadcast. Dominik will maybe get better at promos, or they need to get him a manager and just have Ray be his manager. Aaliyah does not seem comfortable doing this. I mean, if she is, she ain't showing it. But unfortunately, the fun begins. How does the fun begin? Well, Seth Rollins shows up on the screen and says, hey, Aaliyah's lying about this because I'm going to show you some stuff. Because, of course, Seth leaking someone else's DMs, I guess, is revenge for what happened 5.5 years ago. Just with 2 people that had nothing to do with it. Oh, God. Zara's WWE run got a 9 out of 10. Anyway, so, yeah, Murphy and Aaliyah, and they showed DMs with them talking and everything, all chatty and everything, it's all cutesy and stuff like that. I'm going to make it clear right now that I have no disrespect to Murphy or Aaliyah. I've got nothing against them. 32-year-old guy, 32-year-old guy, 19-year-old girl. Yeah, she's of legal age. Okay, so fucking what? This is just creepy, especially after all the stuff that's happened with Velveteen, loophole or not, it's still fucking creepy. This stuff with Austin Theory, and all the stuff with the speaking out thing. This feels like grooming. Now, maybe I'm reading too much into it. I'm not saying that Murphy is being a predator here. I'm saying that the storyline is absolutely fucking shit, and this is one of the worst things they've done this year, and it's absolutely baffling. It's baffling that they would do this. At least I would used to say that, except Vince does not care about pleasing the fans as much anymore. He'll give us a show like Clash of Champions, which was pretty good. All things considered, despite the rematches and despite any botches, was pretty damn good. Wasn't great, but did exceed expectations that were set in the year's core. But I digress. Now they're going to go with a 32-year-old guy and a 19-year-old girl. 19. You can do whatever the fuck you want when people are of legal age. I don't fucking care. This does not set well with me, especially on a wrestling show. You want to do this shit when you're off television. I mean, I'm not saying Murphy and Aaliyah are doing this. I think Aaliyah's dating somebody, and it wouldn't even fucking matter if she was. She's a girl. She can do what the fuck she wants. Murphy is a grown adult man and can do what he wants, especially after all the shit that WWE has done and some of the shit that's going on in New Japan and AEW and stuff like that with various talents. Maybe you shouldn't be this fucking tone deaf. I thought the group that calls themselves Retribution was one of the most tone deaf things. I think this might be worse. Now, yes, of legal age, obviously, but it doesn't set well with me. I pass it to you in the comments. Is it really that bad? Am I just taking it too seriously? Or is it just really, really fucking bad? So, Aaliyah then says, Murphy's not like Seth. He's good and he's stuff like that. No, don't take him away. I love him. We're just a couple weeks away from an episode of Cops breaking out. Why? Why is this a thing? And why did they give Lana a mic in the next goddamn segment? Like, Lana should never talk ever. Sable 2.0, in other words. Natty. I like Natty. And then we get Adam Pearce bringing out Mandy and the newest acquisition to Raw, Dana Brooke. Now, I'm not knocking, but if you're going to have a draft, why in the world didn't you just have Mandy face Natty in a singles match and build up that feud? Mandy versus Natty would be pretty damn good. They just brought Dana Brooke with absolutely no hype and nothing against Dana Brooke. She is what she is. She has improved, but she is what she is. She's going to be a mid-card act. Natty and Sable 2.0 versus Mandy and Dana. It was not good. It really wasn't. A pump kick pinned Lana. Lana, taking it face first, is the best thing for her because that's really all she's good at in the ring. And then, just why? Why would you do this to Mandy? And I mean, nothing against Dana. Natty, who's probably the best worker out of anybody in that group, granted her and Mandy are the only good workers, Natty should be doing more stuff than this. Or better stuff than this. Alistair then talks about Owens having a knack for betraying the people who rely on him and talking about his family, removes his eye patch, and suddenly, or his eye covering, and suddenly he's got a shark eye, he's got a spoopy eye. Street Profits then show up at the poker game. Okay, great, that just ruined that segment right there. Alistair's new theme, that was fucking bullshit. That actually may even be worse than the Aaliyah Murphy storyline. Actually, it's not, no. A theme can actually grow on you, or a theme can be changed. That freaking segment with Aaliyah and Murphy is going to stick out in my mind. That theme is terrible, though. Alistair and Owens, I wanted to like it. It wasn't bad. This new Alistair Black ain't working. I'm sorry. It's just fucking not. I'm not saying you can't evolve a character. This ain't a good idea. It ain't good at all. Ref bump was accidental and we caused a DQ and then a stunner afterwards. And Alistair's all upset at the ref and then upset at Owens. And Owens says, you keep being a bitch. You's a bitch. And then Truth Tozawa and Gulak 24/7 championship. Cool. By the way, Truth won. I think Truth won. Yeah, he did. And Charlie says, I can tell you that I'm happy to see Truth regain his 24/7 title. Charlie is literally the only person. I guess because they co-host Raw Talk. You know, that show I don't watch. So, then we have Mandy. Dana has always been there for me. Since when? When have they ever had any interaction of a positive nature? Seriously. When? Please tell me. I'm drawing a blank. Are we going to do a Chronicle episode where we're going to show their friendship along with the friendship of Sonya? But it's like the Keith Lee, Drew McIntyre friendship that I'm sure they've had, going back to Drew's indie days, when he was between his WWE runs. But seriously, what friendship? Nothing against Mandy, nothing against Dana. That haircut on Mandy is certainly a choice. It doesn't accentuate her very well, but it is what it is. Murphy versus Dominik. By the way, they panned to Dominik, and it's like they're going to hit on Dominik all of a sudden because Dominik's just there preparing and getting all ready and everything. No Raw Underground. That might have been why this episode wasn't a total dumpster fire. If they get rid of Raw Underground, period, that's probably a good idea because it was a terrible idea. So, Murphy versus Dominik. Well, we go to the announcer's table immediately. The match was actually pretty good. We get some good action and everything. And then the fun begins because Aaliyah comes down because Dominik has a cane. No, don't do that. Don't do that. I love him. It's like a bad Mexican soap opera. No, I'm not saying that because they're Hispanic. It's actually that's how bad the acting is. Just without the cool camera zooms and music cues and the gasps and Spanish captions. You ever watched any of those Mexican soap operas? They're fucking hilarious. I don't understand them at all, but they're great. This isn't hilarious. And then Aaliyah distracts the most devastating maneuver in all professional wrestling. Surprise roll up 1, 2, 3, and then Dominik is suddenly caning or kendo sticking or whatever the fuck the word is. He's Kendo Sticky Murphy, and Aaliyah's like, just stop. And Dominik says, you are naive, and then she slaps him with one of the weakest slaps. That would not have, she could have connected with air and somehow hit Dominik more than that. This is a dumpster fire. Ziggler says, hey, Adam Pearce, I know I can't face Drew, but I have an idea. Let's go talk. Adam Pearce is suddenly running Raw. Suddenly. And then the Hurt Business boot camp for Cedric. I'm guessing Cedric is one of those that has to be quarantined, which if so, hey, good excuse for him. Hurt Business minus Cedric versus Ali, Apollo, and Ricochet. So Retribution graphics light up. Oh no, they can't just drop the storyline despite the fact they're in quarantine and just bring them back fresh and forget about this dumpster fire. They have that. They cut the break. They come back. No reference to it afterwards. One line, though, the CEO inserts himself. That sounds like a Fortune 500 company waiting to be brought down. And then 450 pins MVP. Ali pins MVP. Cool. They're going to do something with Ali for about 2 weeks and then put him back on main event. More poker. I don't even know her. Belair on the track. We're getting Mr. Perfect-like buys from these vignettes. Cool. It is what it is. McIntyre versus Rude. It's different. I can't fault him for that. Unfortunately, Ziggler kept interfering. If this had been straight up Rude and McIntyre would have been fine. Glorious DDT for 2. I do like the give us a kiss thing that Joe does for the headbutt. That is really cool, the Glasgow kiss. But the Claymore for 3. And suddenly we cut to a janitor. And what the hell's going on? The janitor has a chair. And he has night vision goggles. It's Orton. Orton has night vision goggles. Apparently he saw Aleister Black's Metal Gear Solid thing and said, yeah, I can do that better. Except not better. And then he turns the lights off, has the night vision goggles on, and beats up the Legends. And that is all I am going to say about this episode of Raw. I want to also say one closing thing right here. By the way, I don't even know why the fuck they did that with Orton. Mandy should be a single star. If they are just doing this to give Dana Brooke something to do, I'm fine with it. But Mandy can be a single star. They can actually do something with her because Raw could have a good women's division. They just need to do something with her. And after, yes, the stuff with Sonya had to end suddenly because of the obvious situation. And hopefully Sonya is okay. She can do what she needs to do outside the ring and just grow. And if she never comes back to the business, it's fine. Whatever she needs to do for herself is what matters. But Mandy can be a star. If you need to reintroduce her to Raw and have her go for a few months, in a tag team, that's fine. But if they aren't doing something better with her by the Rumble, this is going to be fucking stupid and a missed opportunity. So, anyway, not a good episode of Raw. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.